Hey everybody, I'm Patricia. You may have seen my Chic Sparrow, Odyssey, Athena, and A5 on the Facebook group page. A lot of people have asked me about how I went about stamping it and if it's been rolled or exactly what the process is. So I wanted you to just have a look at it. You can see it is very well loved. I've had this thing probably about 5 or 6 months now. I do carry it every single day for work. I love my pen that I use with it. It's a great setup for me. It was a lot of fun doing it. I'm pretty adventurous, so I wasn't scared to tackle it at all. I also did my Nano Odyssey Athena Nano size. This is my wallet, and I carry it every single day. So these two buddies are with me at all times in my life. So I recently decided to get the Narrow and just got this in. And so I told some people that I would record how I do the process of stamping and enhancing a little bit the Narrow. It just has the darkened corners like the Odyssey Athenas always come with, a little bit of the white stitching, but you can see the difference in the color just from carrying it from 4 or 5 months. It's quite a bit darker than it comes new. So we'll just do a little bit of work on it. I'll show you my process. I'm sure everybody has their own way of doing things, but this is just some of the things that I do with it. So I would just recommend that you lay it out flat so that you have a smooth surface to work with. I use the Stays On ink, either in brown or jet black. I'm going to use the black. I have several things that I'm going to use on it. This is stencils. These are French words, if you can see, and you can tell I've already used this one. My goal is to make it look really similar to the A5 with just a little bit of a different twist, because this is going to be my traveler's notebook for traveling. And so I'm going to put a little bit different stuff, a little bit traveler related, but you'll be able to see the process. So some French words. I use the clock faces, just the dials. I'm going to be adding on here. I'm also going to be adding the coffee rings and some stains. These are stamps, and I apply it with this little pouncer just to stamp right through it. And or in the smaller areas, I have this little thumb thing that you just stamp right through. So we'll be using some of that. And in addition, I'm going to be using a couple of stamps, just travel type stamps that I'm going to add on. A little bit of the postage looking stamps. And really, I don't have a plan. Again, like I said, I just kind of want it to have the same feeling as my A5. I wanted to have the coffee rings, and I wanted to have the ink drips, and I know that I wanted to have the clocks and the French lettering, but how it comes together, really for me, just use your own interpretation. I didn't see anyone's to copy. I just kind of did what I wanted to do on mine. If this is not your style, I kind of like the whole steampunk Tim Holtz theme. These are stencils by Jamie is the name of them, and I got them on Amazon. But if this is not your style, I've seen some really cute ones where they did butterflies or birds or whatever your taste is. It just is to personalize your traveler notebook to you. So this is me. You feel free to do you however you want to do it. But we'll get working on this one, and hopefully it'll look like this by the time we're done. So the first thing, I want to make sure that I have a couple of things on here. I want to make sure that I have my French words. And so with this, I'm going to use a little, if it'll even stick because this thing is so old. And the way that I like to ink a stamp is just to put the stamp on it. The ink right onto the stamp rather than flipping it the other way. And so just make sure you have it nice and inked. And again, just be brave. You got to just go for it. So don't hesitate. The main thing whenever you're going to stamp, go down and press firmly and don't wiggle because you don't want your stamp to have like a shadow. You want it to be a clean stamp whenever you come down. So wherever you're going to do it, commit to it, go straight down and don't pick up until you've really pressed firmly everywhere. So here goes nothing. You just press, pick it up, and in this case, my ink is dry, so it didn't do real well. So we're going to do another one, and again, you can see it just left a little bit of a mark on it. It's fine. It's all going to add to it. Let me use a fresher ink here. And mistakes are perfectly fine. If you mess anything up, it's all about distressing. So it really just kind of adds to it. If you drop an ink drop on it or mess it up in some way, it's really perfectly fine. So here we go again. It doesn't have to be even. It doesn't have to be straight. This is just not wanting to pick up on it real good. So I'm going to come down again, try it, pressing a little bit harder. There we go. Now it's coming. You can see some in the corner. And again, you can see that the stamp pattern itself is not all the way there. I like that. I don't want it to be a really hard look like a stamp. I want it to look aged and sort of vintagey. And so I'm just trying to get a little bit more ink on. I think this is a new ink pad. And again, just kind of go where you want it to be. Pressing down, but not, once you commit, go all the way down and then before you pull it up. Again, you can see it's kind of leaving gaps in it. That's okay. I like it. I'm going to do, I usually try to do 3 or 4 of different patterns and then I move on. In this situation, I want it to be just part of the stamp, so I'm going to put something here to protect my counter and just come down. And just a little bit of pressure on it so that you have a good coverage down. So that was this one here that I just did. Sorry, this one here. And you just keep working it until it's got whatever you want on it. So that's this one. So I'm going to move on to these letters now, these words. It's just a French words, really no rhyme or reason. You just kind of want to make sure that your text is upwards. And so I'm just going to lay it down, kind of halfway off, halfway on. I'm not real particular about how I'm doing it. The main thing whenever you're going to use these or the little finger pouncers is, again, you want to make sure that your stencil doesn't move a whole lot once you start. So kind of hold it down with your hand as much as you can. If you're more comfortable, you can tape it, but I'm fine just doing it with my hand. So let's see if I can get this, get your ink on and then just sort of pounce it. You can see through the stencil that the ink is coming off on your notebook. So that's what you want to see. You want to make sure that it's going through. And sometimes it takes a little bit of pressure. You have to kind of wiggle it in there, but you don't want to smear it. You want to just use enough pressure to get it on. So just kind of up and down, then move it away. You can see this up here in the corner. And the good thing is it dries, this stays on ink, dries almost instantly, and you don't have to worry about it smearing. So by the time you remove this stencil, give it 1 minute or two, and it's completely dry. So I want a little bit more of this. I'm going to put it here in the center. Just a little bit more words here. And again, it's all about your taste, as little or as much as you want it to be. Just did this here. Now I'm going to go with my coffee, the little coffee stains, and just find the place that you want it to be. I prefer layering, so I'm going to go right over the words where it looks like I just did this at a coffee shop. I was sitting in Paris and I put my coffee down and made a mess of it. And that's just sort of how I like it to look, very spontaneous, and not real planned, like it just happened. And so that's the coffee ring. Very, very easy. This is a Tim Holtz pattern, that stencil that I got off of Amazon. It's got some spills and then the rings and then some little dots. So I like it a lot. I'm going to do a little bit more down the spine. And right now, the colors, the black looks pretty harsh on it, but as you use your notebook, it really does blend nicely. And as you can see from my A5, the leather is going to darken, and so the ink spots are not nearly as pronounced. When I first did this one, it was the same way. These were kind of shocking, and it seemed really dark to me, just like this is. But as you use it and the oil from your hands gets on it and it just starts to distress more, it loses that that sense of being so extreme and so dark. So it'll all even out. I'm not even worried about it. I like it, whatever it is. I like the look of the marks falling off my notebook, like it just dripped straight on down. Let's see, so I'll put that one aside. I think I want a little bit more coffee stains up here in the corner. So remember, you just want to try not to let your stencil wiggle too much. But if it does, it's fine. It's all going to blend, and you're just going to keep working it until you have the look that you want it to have. So like this, I just did this one. I'm really liking it. I want more words. I know that I want more clocks. So let's go ahead and do that. And again, I like to layer. So I'm going to put some of my clock right over my French words. Use varying pressure also. So some parts you want lighter, other parts you want darker. Some places you want missing. You don't want it to look so perfect. So let's see, I just did the clock here and I did varying pressure. So here you can see there's a gap, no ink. I like that. I didn't want it to be perfect. I'm going to do another, and again, I think this is a stencil by Jamie, and it's the clock faces. So let's see, 11 is my lucky number, and this stencil happens to have a number 11, so I always use an 11 on my notebooks. I make sure I put one just because I'm superstitious that way. I'm just gonna keep going while I'm at it. Make a little clock up here. That looks good. I like that. So I have my 11 and my clock here. Let's see what else. I think I'm gonna go back to this now that I have my ink working a little bit better. I want some more of this. So just ink it up good. Not too much, but it won't drip. It's perfectly fine. And I want a little bit right here. And again, you saw I just kind of flopped it down there. It doesn't have to be straight. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just put it on there. Then pull it off. I'm going to go back over this right here. And I kind of like I said, I like the variation where it's not, everything is not done at the same time. I like the gaps in the print. I like where it's not full coverage. Then I can go back and fill in. I'm going to fill in now with these words. These other French words, just kind of right over the other words. I'm just trying to get coverage right now. And the little elastic is kind of in the way, so you just work around it. It's fine. So I filled in this area here. So I have my coffee stain on the spine. I have my words. I'm looking at this. I have a little open space here. So because this is going to be my traveler's notebook, I'm going to put a compass here. And I'm not even looking at the direction of the stencil. I'm not looking to see if it's right side up, upside down. I don't care. I just want the pattern on the stencil, on the notebook. So ink it up as good as you can. And I use these little clear mounts for the stamps just because it helps me to get a little bit better pressure. Now on this one, I want it to look kind of less than perfect, so I don't want it to have just really a perfect circle. So I'm going to lay this down so that when I stamp, I miss part of the stamp. I don't want the whole thing perfect. So I'm just going to do maybe 3/4 of the stamp. And 1/4 is not going to be stamped. So it's going to look like it was just an old stamp that wasn't completed. And this is what it looks like because I covered part of it. So just the top half shows. And again, this Stays On ink is almost immediately dry. All of this is already dry and I can handle it completely. Let's see. Sorry if I keep saying I'm thinking while I'm doing this. So I'm going to go to another smaller stamp. This one's really cute. I like it. It says Explore, Adventure, and World Traveler. So I want to make sure that this does show and that I can read it. So I'm going to put it right here on the front of my notebook because I really want to be able to see that. So I'm just going to come down, press hard, pull it up. That looks perfect. So see this right here, Traveler, and then it's already dry. It's perfectly fine to rub it just as soon as you do it because again, I'm using this Stays On permanent ink. So I really like this one a whole lot, so I'm going to do it again. I'll do it this time up at the top, and I'm going to make it fall off of my notebook. I'm going to turn it this way so that it just has part of the compass showing. That looks good. It ended up just a little circle. I like that. I'm going to do another one over here. I like that. And maybe one more here. Just lightly. There you go. And then I think I'm going to do this. Looks like a canceled passport stamp. Going to add that. Just right here. Any place that I have a little open area, I'm just going to lightly press it. Let's see, right here. You don't want too many things the same at the same place. So kind of spread it out, mix it up a little bit. And this is a, like a airmail stamp. So let's see, I think I'm going to do that right here. And you'll notice I'm really not giving it a whole lot of thought. To me, if I overthink it, it takes away the creativity. So don't overthink it. Just really just have fun with it. Just go for it. Plop it down there. If you mess it up, put something else over it. In fact, this one, let me tell you this. This stamp right here on my A5 is the French words upside down. I put it on upside down. I couldn't care less. It's perfectly fine for me. So if you mess up, please don't panic. Nobody ever, ever, ever is going to read my traveler that close that they're going to see that my French words are upside down. It just looks like a pattern and nobody knows but me, and I don't care. So it's perfectly fine. Whatever you do, it's fine. Let's see. I think I want one of these here. What else do I have? I'm going to use this little, oh, this is cute. This is a little airplane. So again, because it's my traveler one, just put me a little airplane right there. Right there. Where else do I have room? Right there. Oh, that's cute. The airplane didn't even imprint, so it's just the circle. And right there. What else? I think, let's see. Oh, I like this thing here, but I don't like the whole stamp. So it's got lines and everything, and I don't want to use all of that, but this is a globe, this part. So I'm just going to put the globe here on the end of my stamp, and I'm just going to use the globe. So I have this part out. I'm not going to use this part. I'm just going to stamp the globe. And let's see, I think I'll put it right here. Oh, that's perfect. It's perfectly imperfect, let me say that. That, and then here. And I want a little bit more of the drips. So I'm going to, let's see, right here. I want this just to come across perfect. Here, I want a couple little, just a couple little stains covering part of the clock. Let's see. And then I'll probably stop here and just kind of live with it a couple of days and see if anything bugs me. And if anything bugs me, then I'll go back and do it, redo it, add something just to make it look differently. But right now, I kind of like it. And all total, let's see, this was 23 minutes to get it to this point. So if you just kind of attack it, you can get it done pretty quickly. I have this little spot here I'm going to cover. There we go. Perfect. So this is now what it looks like. And remember, this is what it's going to look like as it ages and the colors blend together. So right now, it might be sort of startling to you, but this is what it's going to end up after you carry it. And what I like is that I'm not a huge fan of the really dark corners that they come with, but this just sort of blends it all together and makes it not look as harsh. So I'm going to move all of this out of the way just a little bit, and now I'm going to roll it. And I don't know if there's a right or a wrong way to roll these things. All I know is I stamp first because I want to make sure that what I'm working on is smooth so that my stamps don't wrinkle up. And then once I feel like I'm pretty much done stamping, then I'm comfortable rolling it. So for me, this is just how I roll it. I just roll it. I don't know how it's supposed to be. Oops, my little Chic Sparrow stamps in there. So I'm just gonna roll it, and I'm not even careful with it, y'all. I mean, I really want it to look distressed. I want it to be bent up. I want it to be softened a little bit. Sorry, my counter, look at this. See, my counter's got oil on it from Christmas lunch. I don't care. It's perfectly fine. That's kind of what we're looking for anyway. But if I don't like something, one of these little spots, that looks like an ink spot that I would have done, but it's not. It's Christmas lunch. Sorry about that. But it's fine. I can go back and I can stamp. One of my other ones has stamps on the inside. And in fact, I'm going to put this on the inside. This says, let's see, learn to pause, or nothing worthwhile will catch up to you. And I love that quote. I love that saying. I have it on the inside of my A5 and my B6. And that's kind of a lecture to myself to remember to stop and pause and take vacation. I work really hard at work. I'm a registered nurse, and I have to take a break sometimes. And so there you go, just right there. Learn to pause. And, really, again, don't panic, y'all. If it's not perfect, that's what you want it to be. You want it to not be perfect. I know that this is probably making some of you panic because I'm being so aggressive with this, but it's leather. Remember, horses ride these things. Horses ride on leather, and this is such amazing quality that it can stand up to anything, and I like it. I want it broken down like this. I want it, just kind of smoothed out and wrinkled and all the different colors. And so for me, I think I'm about done with this one. It has just a little bit of marks right here from rolling it. There's a little bit here in the corner. I'm going to continue to work on it and roll it just as I use it. I like to kind of mess with the corners a little bit, and but for right now, I love it. It's exactly what I wanted it to be. It's got the travel stance. It's got the coffee stains. It's got some French words. The back, the same, just some spills, different things. So if it's not for you, that's okay too. This is for me, and I love it. And I hope that you get brave enough to do one that suits your personality and your style. I'm a bit of a mess. I'm a flea market junk shopper and quite the traveler and adventurer. So this is my style, and I really hope that you find your style and do something fun for yourself. Anyway, I hope that you learned something. Again, what I have used is Tim Holtz stencils from Amazon. I have used an acrylic board for my rubber stamps. I have used the Stays On ink, this time in jet black. I've used a couple of different types of stamps from, let's see, where'd that package go? Jamie is the name, Jaime, 6x6 stamp, 6x6 stencils. And again, this came from Amazon. This one's called Mini Time Traveler. And I think that's it. And a variety of different acrylic stamps. Remember, you don't have to use the whole thing. Cover up the part that you don't want to use. Just use half of it or the whole thing, whatever you want to use. And just go for it and have a good time. Merry Christmas. I hope you do something fun with your gifts that Santa brought you. Thank you. Bye-bye.